Oh, I'm so fabulous. Let's get him, guys. I am your doom. Oh, guys, seriously. Head shield, doom spear.
What does that intro have to do with this entire video? Nothing. Anyway, Cotton's between my legs.
Hello. Look, I was down here before you sat down.
No, you weren't. You distinctly weren't. I'm not getting it.
I have been stuck here for 6 days.
Oh, well, then you've not heard the news.
There's news?
Rise!
I can't. I've been stuck here for 6 days.
60 seconds. Hot take. Initial reaction. Go.
It's good. There's lots of stuff. I like lots of movement. There's vertical stuff. You can fly. I like the ability to fly. It's like every weapon is aerial insect glaive, and I think aerial insect glaive is going to become even more aerial than the rest of the weapons, which is really cool. And it means that we can do stuff like fight monsters further up. And they can do stuff like the actual flying monsters will be easier to fight. And then there's stuff like the dog. And the dog is really cool. I really like the dog. The dog's going to be awesome. I'm going to have one dog and one cat, and Candy's still going to be my cat. I'm going to have to find a new name for the dog that still works as a joke that goes along with cotton candy, but he's going to be blue.
So the correct name is
Stick?
Yes. You have cotton candy Stick, and Stick also works doubly for a dog, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
So that already ties itself up. All right, let's start as we mean as the meat and bones, the juice and the crunch, the marrow and the blood of any Monster Hunter game, which is of course the monsters. I'm initially going to say a monster, and I want your single word hot take.
It's hard to be hot with one word.
Well, how about this? Fire. Great Izuchi!
Trio!
Trio. Alright, look, I think this
Trio
is probably going to be the best first monster of any Monster Hunter game.
I fully agree with you, too, because the thing is like, once you have the idea of them attacking in these sort of waves where it sort of varies, too, where it's not the big one attacking first every time, too, like, that's a really learnable pattern, which really enhances the fight for a low-tier fight that most don't have.
No, the only issue is if you kill the two little ones and then they don't come back and they die in like half a hit, then it kind of takes away from the whole shtick.
Right, that would be pretty sad, but hopefully that won't happen.
Okay, that's fair enough. Magnamalo, flagship.
Amalgamation.
Okay, that's interesting, and I don't disagree with that. My initial reaction is that I love the purple fire and the kind of like demon-y aesthetic, the whole Japanese myth angle, but at the same time he looks like not an animal.
The exact words that I've used to describe it personally is it's like if Odogaron, Zenogre, and Nargacuga somehow had a baby as a trio. Like that's what would come out is
also
that creature.
Described it personally. Have you been stood in front of a mirror going, all right, self.
I've been under this log for 6 days!
Okay, we'll see. I personally really like flagships without wings. I think they're more interesting.
I like that. It's nice.
So
I also like that I'm theoretically moving back from an Elder Dragon, unless this is an Elder Dragon.
No, he's a Fanged Wyvern.
It's the tail that made me say Nargacuga. It's just so
interesting
familiar.
fact, the tail actually opens up to a Japanese type of spear.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit of attention to detail there. All right, Aknosom.
Hard.
It's
the frills. The fact that he can make them go to a shield mode is so cool.
Yeah, he has like shield mode, sword mode. I think he is the best. He's my favorite of the monsters that have been revealed.
He's really cool.
Love quirky bird wyverns. And I think he looks gorgeous. A little fire crane. That's so lovely.
I think he's one of the most genuinely breathtaking creatures if you just saw him and just watched him in view mode, but also watching him if you look at him at the right moments, I feel like he could have a little bit of that dirt factor that the bird wyverns tend to have. Yeah. And I love that.
He really has quite an evil eye though.
He does.
It's really oh, okay, all right. It's
haha, we will walk away now.
Oh, what's it called? He reminds me of this looking at you.
Yes, exactly.
It's that evil bird eye, but it's still a bird, so it's quite hard to take seriously. All right, let's get this over with. Tetranadon.
Chonk.
Chonk. And your new favorite monster, of course.
It's basically just Zamtrio's ball mode as a permanent monster.
Well, it's based on a kappa and a bit of turtle platypus. It's just ridiculous. It tries to drown a bear.
Tried to swallow Arceros.
I genuinely don't think he was swallowing. I think he was just dipping him in his water in his belly, trying to drown the fucker. Like
honestly, either way, any like giant toad creature with the balls to shove something into its throat as an offensive method.
I'm sorry. Any toad creature with the balls to shove something into its throat as an offensive method.
Yes.
Why a bug? Yes or no?
Yes. In the way that, like, I feel like I will enjoy it in this game and not necessarily expect to see it in, like, the next console Monster Hunter.
Yeah, well,
game.
every monster has its
like,
gimmick. Iceborne's not going to be the only game with tenderizing, flinch-shotting. GU is the only game with styles and hunter rats. This is going to be the wire bug game. And I like it. I think it's fun to sleep into the air. Anything that lets me just permanently aerial greatsword is good in my book. I think
like,
that's,
for combat, it's cool. But I think the best part of it is just the general traversal and stuff. Like, they can make the map so, like, more realistic once you add all that verticality that you can also visit.
Though a prayer to all my wedge beetles everywhere. How does it even work, the wire bug? Because, like, it's a string that the bug secretes, right? And the bug flies away. So. You hold the string, and it's attached to the abdomen of the bug. But what kind of fucking bug is reeling you back? Like, is it just... Like, is it like a noodle? Like a long piece of spaghetti?
Maybe.
Is it just
like,
absorbing it back into its body?
Maybe.
The actual, like, the biology of what this thing is doing is either ridiculous or disgusting or both.
Maybe it's like a bungee cord almost.
Yeah, but even
like,
so, this bug has to be strong enough, flying in the air, hovering, for a human to pull against it, and for the bug to remain anchored and not get yonked towards the person. It's insane. And maybe I'm the only person in the world that cares about this, probably, but it's insane.
I was gonna say, I think we're, like, the second I saw this gameplay, I think we were past the point of trying to, like, legitimize and realistically explain the physics behind the wire bug.
Alright, fine. The
but,
whole
it looks like so much fun, though.
Open world climbing everything, Breath of the Wild style exploration. Like, they said they want people to find stuff in the map, so I assume they might be a lot bigger than we expect, with, like, hidden zones and various shenanigans.
I feel like they've got to be bigger than world size. Like, if you see how fast the movement is, like, you just have to picture how fast they'd expect us to be able to get across it and imagine that they have to scale up a little bit.
No, that's a good point, actually, yeah. Between sprinting everywhere on your dog and then climbing everything, wire bugging everywhere, you probably do have to have quite the open map. I guess, for me, the vibe I get from this game is that with World and Iceborne, there was distinctly old Monster Hunter, which was everything until World, and then there was, this is how Monster Hunter is now, new Monster Hunter, World and Iceborne. Whereas this is now, there's a third category of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So it's
that's fair.
From this point onwards, every new iteration could just be completely different. I bet you, alright, everyone listening to this, I bet a fair amount of people that had no idea that a Monster Hunter game was getting announced, so you had no context or expectation, tuned into the direct. I bet when that dog started running across an open field past a ruin, your first thought was some kind of RPG? Maybe? And then it panned up to, oh, that's a Monster Hunter armor and weapon and palico, and oh, it's a Monster Hunter game!
I'm big on the dog as well.
Okay, I mean, maybe don't be too big on the dog, you don't want to crush it.
Well, look, I'll be as big as I get to. I need to be able to sustain myself for fighting.
I've withered away under this log, you don't understand.
Don't worry, I'll feed my dog adequately as well, so he will also be large.
Are you gonna have two cats, two dogs, one of each?
I think one of each. That seems like the good, like, story split.
How do you feel about the fact that
accurate?
even in a 4-player hunt, everyone can still bring one, so there's 8 things attacking the monster?
That's very interesting. I mean, I feel like we'll have to see how the actual Palico system or Palamute system develops, depending on which one you use, because it seems like they have much more, like, defined, like, actions this time. Like, you can see the support cat firing out these bubbles that you break to heal.
Yeah, it's like Mizutsune heal bubbles. And by the way, those bubbles, that's totally because Mizutsune's in the game and they had to make the bubbles right. They reused bubbles from Mizutsune's bubbles. That's what that totally means.
I mean, I feel like there's nothing saying that Mizutsume couldn't be in the game, and I feel like there's a decent chance
Mizutsume
would be
fits
in
the
this
style
game.
of the aesthetic of this
For
game
sure.
to an absolute T. Like, let's be honest here. I feel like every popular monster that wasn't in World and Iceborne will be in this game.
More than likely.
I feel that's a
absolutely
sensible thing to do.
If I don't see Duramboros, I will cry.
I thought you were going to say something threatening, like, I will get angry, I will go on a rampage, I'll send an upset letter. No, I'll just softly cry in a corner and accept it. Alright, what do you think the rampage is?
Oh, it's interesting because of the way that they worded it. It feels like they're sort of implying that there's just monsters stirring up for a period of time. Like, it just feels like an Elder Crossing 2.0 type event.
Alright, so
where it's just something happens every once in a while.
How would you like if one of the translations has it as Night Parade of 100 Wyverns?
Well, I'd like that because that almost sounds like we're getting 100 monsters.
Which is a play on Night Parade of 100 Demons, which is one of like the stories.
And that obviously makes sense given that we have monsters based off of these demonic creatures and these mythological
which
creatures.
to me
so
I
far.
think it implies it's like just a huge stampede that happens every 50 years is what it's supposed to be. Every 50 years ago there was a calamity and now there's another one.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're playing with the idea that there's loads of monsters just surging forward, and they said they want it to actually interact with the hunts and be a mechanical thing, so maybe at some point you actually have
Just
to...
monsters rush in or something.
I wonder what the monster cap is in this game. If there's more than 3 per map.
I mean, especially if the maps are bigger. Another thought that I've had is like, how do monsters chase you as much? Because like thinking about the speed of the character and the verticality of the movement and how I imagine the maps to be, at least from the gameplay that we've seen, I feel like the monsters are going to have a hard time keeping up with you when they're trying to chase you to other places.
Or at least not the flying ones.
Yeah, not flying ones. Flying ones, you get a jail free
Yes,
card.
then the big question, the question of the day, the final question, the one and only question, the $1 million question, the grand question. It's an important question. Is
what's the question?
Are you happy this is the direction it's going in?
I'm excited to see what we get. It's hard to say that I'm happy this is the direction we're going in because I don't know what other direction it would have gone.
Yeah, but if
we're
do you
saying in
finish
comparison-
watching the trailer and be like, oh, I can't wait to play that? Or is it,
yeah.
Ooh, okay, we'll see.
See, at the very start of the trailer, I was sort of concerned when I saw the movement, but then I saw the monsters, and the second you see the monsters and the Monster Hunter combat, you know it's all going to be good. It's going to be great. I'm excited to play this shit.
Yeah, I am. I think it's going to be a lovely rendition of Monster Hunter. Because the thing is, you don't just want more of the same. Like, you don't want another old-style game. You don't want another world game. Monster Hunter can be whatever it needs to be. In theory, you could just do Monster Hunter games, each with their own very distinct feel to them, and just unify them by them being Monster Hunter games with monsters in, and you can just kind of go crazy, especially given they're literally doing that with tying Stories 2 into it, and that's obviously a very different style of game.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it feels like they're actually moving towards that with this, because, like, this is a very specific style, and it feels like it's a very specific part of their world. Like, they're showing us one corner of the world, the new world being another corner of the world. Like, what if it's just the style of gameplay is different in each of these separate regions than the ones we're used to?
Yeah, that's a good point. Hunters from this area just hunt in the way that they hunt. Ergo, they have
like
wire
these
bugs
people have
here,
wire
they have
bugs.
clutch claws in the new world, they
These
have...
guys are riders.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
Fair enough. Closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts are Tetranadon is amazing, and Palamute is also amazing.
Okay, this man just wants his dog and his turtle platypus.
I want my dog and my turtle.
That's it. That's all you
Also,
care about. That's content right there.
Also, I want to see how the other weapons play, because we saw some little clips and tidbits of some of the changes to the weapons that look great, and
You gonna answer that?
and not all of them. No, I'm not.
Alright guys, that's a little bit of a look to everything Rise, a little bit of discussion. Let us know if you like this kind of thing. And, well, presumably we can do more at some point, I guess.
I hope so.
If we ever get you out of this log.
I can't leave. Well, you can just come back.
I guess I could just come back, yeah. Alright, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe to more, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'm glad you never asked why I got into the log in your room.
Wait, that's a really good...
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kinda relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.